I've got something for Cort today that's gonna blow his mind. It looks like it's a body, but it's not. Surprise, it's a guitar. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
But today,
What's going on here?
what's under the shroud? It looks like it's a body.
Finally a body.
This looks like a body. I mean, I'd ask you to guess, but you're gonna have no effing idea of what
It's a bazooka. Or what, is that what they're called, bazookas?
Well, I mean, that's a gun.
No, a bazooki.
It's not a bazooki.
What? Okay.
Look at this.
What is this?
Look at this. Okay. So this is
what the
a Roland G-707. Okay.
Oh, dude.
It is a guitar synthesizer, obviously, which is what this is, and we'll pull this back so you can see it a little bit better.
Oh my gosh.
But this is about the weirdest thing you're ever going to see. It is a traditional guitar in the sense. In the sense.
When I think traditional guitar, I think the Roland G-707.
In the sense that it does have, you can just plug this in like a normal guitar.
Oh, okay, I see.
So it's got 2 humbucking pickups. Now, one feature that it has is it has the stabilizer bar. So the stabilizer bar was something that Roland decided to do on these guitars, which they made for 1 year, which tells you how popular they are.
Yeah, super
1984. Popular. And the stabilizer bar is designed to ensure that the neck doesn't move around or warp during the seasons, that sort of stuff to help sort of tuning stability, intonation.
Now I'm going to worry about that on my guitars, and I'm going to have to call Roland and get a bunch of stabilizers
for
all my guitars. That's its own thing. Of course, yeah.
So it's got a 24-pin connector that connects to the synth. Here, you take the guitar. So this thing is heavy as hell, and what we've got here is an analog synthesizer. Okay?
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's got a memory cartridge.
I'm gonna turn it around so we can actually see it here, right? 24-pin connector, you plug the guitar into there. You got MIDI in, MIDI out. You've got instrument in, you've got XLR in and out. Now, you've got a bunch of memory banks. This thing weighs a ton, by the way. Again, analog, right? You got a bunch of different memory banks, all housed within each one of these pedals. There are 8 variations within each one of these banks. You can edit all of the sounds, and you can do it while you're plugged into the guitar.
Yeah.
So, if we look down here, we've got a bunch of different knobs and things. We've got our traditional volume and tone, but we've got a high pass filter. We've got a modulation knob as well. You can then change the synthesizer sounds in the memory banks while you're plugged into this and just change sort of that cutoff point on the filter. Those pickups are for the synthesizer.
Okay, so intonation-wise and setup-wise, you can still get away with a normal guitar.
You can plug it in, you could play this like a normal guitar all day long if you wanted. And it sounds pretty damn good. I'm surprised to say that just as a normal guitar, it sounds really, really good. As a synthesizer guitar, it sounds crazy.
It has to.
It's wild. Yep.
It just looks serious.
I bought it from the original owner, and he bought it because Jimmy Page was the artist endorser of this instrument when it came out. So there's Roland ads that you can find out there with Jimmy Page playing this guitar.
Jimmy Page is probably playing something like this when he's doing like a Deathwish soundtrack or something. I'll bet you, because it's
exactly what he used it for.
Okay, there you go. Boom.
So that's what it is. So Jimmy Page used this setup.
Can we call him up and be like, where do you start? Where do you start?
Hey, just a quick reminder to please like, subscribe, and to share this video, and to ring the bell to be notified when we release new episodes weekly. Now, back to the show.
So it's overwhelming.
Yeah, it is kind of overwhelming. I imagine you'd like to play it. Yeah?
Yeah. Apprehension. Yeah. Let's hear what the hell, but you have plugged it in.
Oh yeah.
You've given it a rip. So there's gonna be stuff.
Pardon my French, but it's f***ing crazy. Yeah. It's wild.
Okay, yeah. So
all right, well, Cort's gonna take it away. Cort's gonna take it away and play it and run through all these wonderful synthy sounds. But first, story time. Oh, hello. Welcome to story time. Okay, so this guitar is crazy. It looks crazy. When it's plugged in as a synth, it sounds crazy, but when it's plugged in as a normal guitar, it plays and sounds like a normal guitar. A good guitar, in fact. So good, it's a shame that Roland stopped making guitars. It's clear that they knew what they were doing, especially with this one, but mainly, Roland knows synths. And by the time the late 70s came around, Roland had decided to create a guitar controller, so now guitarists could experiment with all these crazy sounds like flute, or brass, or piano, or chordal pulse sweep. What's a chordal pulse sweep? They produced several guitar-based synth controllers all the way up until 1984, with the culmination of our G-707 guitar controller and our GR-700 synth module. And those are the last ones that they ever did. At least the G-707 is. And why was that? Did they reach an unparalleled level of perfection with that controller? Or was their next controller product a simple device that could affix to any guitar and turn it into a synth controller? It was probably that. I choose to believe the former. And this controller synth combo was used by a few artists, most notably Andy Summers of the Police and Jimmy Page, who was an artist endorser and also used the units to write and record the Deathwish 2 soundtrack, which Cort alluded to off the top. Now, speaking of Cort, I wonder if he's been able to figure this crazy thing out. I know that I haven't, so let's check in with him. What does it sound like? There's only one way to find out.
So here we are in tone check, and we're checking out this G-707 Roland synth guitar. It's got a good weight to it. The neck feels legit. Headstock, questionable 80s style. Whatever the f that is. I guess it gives the support to the neck that all other guitars are lacking. And shame on you other guitar manufacturers for not having that. Locked in and ready to do something. Connected to the G-707 is the GR-700 guitar synthesizer. Because this is an 80s guitar, I'm trying to do a little bit of Bono, no, not Bono, the other dude, the Edge look, because the pedal is bloody huge and I feel like I'm in an Edge mode. Hashtag you too. That's where we're starting. So I hate it already. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a little looksy-wooksy into what it is like as just a guitar. Start with the bridge. Okay, I'm gonna go and add the drive. Okay, so I think I have an idea of what this is about as just a basic guitar. But what we know is that this is totally not a basic guitar. No, it's a complicated mess of a guitar. So let's get complicated. Let's see what happens. So if I go to mode 2, mode 1 was guitar, mode 2. Okay, so first thing is it doesn't matter what pickup it's on, because that is its own pickup. Okay, so you can blend the sound of the guitar with the sound of the synth. At this point for me, I don't care about the sound of the guitar. All synth, baby. All synth all the time here in 1980. Okay, so this thing's fun. This news just in, there are 64 sounds and I spent 3 hours on one. Okay, so I always talk about how a guitar makes you play other shit. I've never played any of this stuff before. Never would, unless it sounded this ridiculous or fun or amazing, however you would like to describe it. It's hilarious. So you really got to watch when you stop the string because you will cut the signal completely. So it's almost like a gate that when you don't give it enough volume, boop, your note goes. Roman numeral 1 is guitar, Roman numeral 2 is synth, and Roman number 3 is a less gated or a more sensitive synth. Aren't they all sensitive? Guitars versus keyboard players all day, all day. Anyways, so number 3, you don't lose your note as quickly, but if you hit the wrong string, hear that do it sometimes. How much do you hate that? Okay, let's go to 6-1. Okay, so you can play this thing for about 14 fucking days. So let's keep moving. Sure. Welcome to this. Let's keep going. 1, 8. Okay, all right. Yeah, R2, D2 left. 1, 7. All right, cue Aussies. Next up, 8-4. Let's find out what it is. So there you go. Jethro Tull didn't need another person in the band. What does a flute sound like when it plays a chord? Well, 7, 8 if you want something that sounds like a drum. Okay, interesting. So I could totally see Jimmy Page getting one of these in his hands and being like, oh, look, there's a guy with a gun and he's coming after Charles Bronson. Cut to scene of some old car coming around a corner from a thing, and oh shit, there's Charles Bronson. Yeah, director's like, okay, Jimmy, we got it. Same shit over and over again. Okay. Y'all ready for 6/8? Bank, 6/8. Reminds me of like a Public Enemy or something. Terminator X was jamming with one of these before anyone, and it's hilarious. You know what I mean? Play that, loop that, add some distortion, and stick Rob Zombie on it, and you got some shitty 90s tune. Okay, sorry, Rob Zombie. 4/6, punch shit. Yes, Marty, we're going to the future. Something like that. I bring that to the band. Everyone's like, what happened to you? Well, let me tell you. Lots. Bank, 6/3. Oh, Jesus. Don't tell me there's more. Just when you thought there wasn't more, I'm bringing you more. I almost felt like I was like making an opening to Inspector Gadget or something. Let's try something. You know the name of the song. You know what to do. Write it down on a piece of paper, fold it up, set it on fire. Nope, put it down in the comments. Let us know if you know what that song is.
Hey, quick reminder to please like, subscribe, and to share this video. And now, back to tone check.
Speaking of keyboards. You can have a lot of fun. Okay, 8, 1. There you have it. Probably the most interesting or strange guitar that we've had on the show, by far, because this is nothing run-of-the-mill. It's super unique. And just to speak to the GR-700 guitar synthesizer module here on the ground, we have barely touched into this at all. So there's 8 banks and 8 patches, which adds up to 64 options, and each of these options are highly editable. There's stuff in here like pitch bending, holding, voice, up, down. There's cartridge, so you could probably load other people's whatever they've messed around with and made crazy sounds with. There's dynamics. We know that there's LFO editable things. There's cutoff. Like, you can just keep going. I mean, you'd probably want to find certain things for certain uses, or you'd go crazy. Like anything creative, you got to go in with a vision and then find it, I think. But it's also fun, like today, where you jump through and you're like, well, what's this sound like? What's 3/2? They're all random numbers to me. All right, so that's Tone Check for this week. Crazy awesome guitar. Thanks, Mike, for picking this up and letting me fart around with it with no clue of what I'm doing. Hopefully you enjoyed some of those tiddly bits. I'll play you out, and we'll see you next time.
And then she saw it in person. She's like, oh, that thing's awesome. That's so cool.
No one would say this is nothing but awesome.
Yeah.